Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachanini Visheshashanavadi Paschata Desha Dharini Hare Krishna Prahladananda Prabhu. You are so absorbed in,
Prabhuji, Dhanvat Prana.
you are so absorbed in Shastra. That's so nice.
Yep.
I hope people can get infected by your absorption.
I'm retired Prabhu, so I have all the time to surrender to feet of great devotees like you.
Oh, Krishna.
Fortunate that way.
I'm not a great devotee, but I appreciate your really endeavor. I hope people take advantage and get contagious with your retirement plan.
I tell them in our satsang that, devote more time to Krishna Katha than Gramya Katha,
Yes.
That's what I insist all the time.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, I agree. Would you like to sing Jai Radha Madhav?
I have a doctor's appointment right now, so I'm actually going to drive right
now. No, that's fine. That's wonderful. I'll do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jai Radha
Madhava Kunja Vihar Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardha Jashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya, Gurudev. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtatara Sadasi Sima Sila Abhay Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jagadguru Sila Prabhupada Ki Jai Iskan Vivekanandacharya Divine Grace Sila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtatara Sadasi Sima Sila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासति गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन मथुर धाम की जय मायापुर नवदी धाम की जय आलाचर धाम की जय भगवद गीता पाठ करी श्रोता करी भक्त वृंद की जय Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Prabhus and mothers, welcome to this session of Bhagavad Gita on Wednesday, June 28, Wednesday. So, we'll begin with our Mangalacharan. You can fold your hand and you can repeat together. You can recite together the mantras. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritam naran chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye nashtaprayesu abhadresu nitam bhagavato sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki mukham karati vachalam pangulangayate girim Jati kripa tamaham bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Shashi Guruvani Pachanini Vishesha Sunnavadi Paschat Deshatarini Vancha Galpataru Vishnu Prasindhi Vishapatitana Pavane Krishna Vitan Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So if anyone would like to read the verse for today, we are starting from, let's see, text 15, chapter 9, text 15. Let's see. Yes, text 15. We'll begin from 15. Yeah, we did up to 14. So we'll catch first where we are from previous classes. It's very beautiful, refreshing those. That text one we discuss many times, at least few weeks. That Lord Krishna says, because Arjuna is non-envious, he is eligible to receive the confidential knowledge. In other words, if our heart is non-envious, envy is an inner conscious mentality, conscious decision that we act upon. So if we are non-envious, then we will receive this confidential knowledge and we can hold it in our heart. And when the idea, desire saturate the heart, then with intelligence, mind will be captured. When mind is captured, then our body follows. We do. Why people do things they do in this world? If you look at it, why they do? Because their mind captured that things they're doing. Whether it's good or bad doesn't matter. So how the mind get captured? The intelligent engage there where mind is absorbed. So how the intelligent get it? First comes the idea, desire, attitude, like this. Then Lord Krishna says, very interestingly, he says, this knowledge, Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idamuttamam. This is the king of knowledge. Why it is king of knowledge? Because it's the king of all secrets in the material world. What does that mean, secrets? Secrets, in a sense, it purifies, is opposite to the conditioned life. It purifies means it will take us out of material world. And directly it will give the realization of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we will be able to joyfully that time perform our service. So that's why it is confidential and secret. Now, what if somebody don't believe what Krishna is saying? Then Krishna says, if you don't believe my words, then you're going to loiter in this world of birth, death, old age, and disease. So Krishna is not forcing us, but he's giving us option. You want to stay in the material world? You don't have to believe me. And if you believe my word and act on it, then you will come back to me and live eternally with me. So that choice is up to us. Then text 4 and 5, we discuss about how Krishna, this knowledge is mysterious because simultaneously all living beings don't abide in me, though they rest within me. It's very conflicting, contradicting, you can say. I'm not contained in them. I exist beyond them as their source. Simultaneously is very unique. Well, that's what inconceivable potency is, Krishna has. Then Arjuna asked, can you give an example how to understand this? Then Krishna gave an example of beautiful example of mighty wind while going everywhere, still abide within the sky. Wind is very powerful, but wind is not powerful more than the sky. So Krishna controlling like a sky. But within the sky, individual cloud can go this side, that side, like this. So similarly, Krishna controls ultimately our ultimate destiny. But he has given also our free will, whether to act or not act, that's up to us. Whether to come to him or not come to him, that's up to us. Then Krishna went further and he talked about that all living beings, if by the end of the creation, if they don't come back to the spiritual world, then they will be stuck in Mahavishnu's body. And then Arjuna's question is that like a material nature is causing this? Krishna says, yes, but material nature is not alone can do it, only when I allow her to do it. So it's very interesting that material nature is controlled by Krishna. So then Krishna went further and he says, Arjuna was asking, since all the living entities are suffering in this world, and you have created this world for them to go through this time, aren't you liable for that? Or aren't you implicated by karma? Because you are dealing with so many souls, life, birth, death, all this. Krishna says, no, I am neutral. I'm here in the material world. I'm neutral. Means I do not desire. I just fulfill their desire. According to their desire, they are taking different body and playing the role as whatever the body they get. And when I am involved, but at the same time, I'm completely aloof. I'm not creating any. As a result, I don't have anything to do. In one sense, I don't suffer. Krishna doesn't suffer. But the soul suffer because they are creating this with their desire. And then Krishna went further. He says, their hopes, their actions, their knowledge are all futile because their consciousness is misdirected. And they will end up abiding in fiendish, demoniac nature. So then Arjuna asked the question, what are the character of those who do understand your divine position? Then two sloka, 13 and 14, I think we did last Wednesday. Krishna says, they are great souls, they are Mahatma. Mahatmanastumam partha doivim prakriti masrita. And they are under my internal potency. And they worship me with single-mindedly and knowing me as the imperishable source of all being. They glorify me. Who are they? The devotees in ISKCON. That's what we do. They glorify me constantly, endeavoring with firm vows. They honor me with devotion, staying ever steadfast in worshipping me. Then Arjuna's further question was, between these two groups, two extremes of those who deride you and those who adore you, one loves you, one don't love you. Are there any other category of people? There are who try to gain knowledge by performing sacrifice. They arrive at three conception of uh, divine as the oneness of all existence. So Krishna is answering today to that question, that there are demons and there are devotees. In between is there another group. So with that note, we are going to start with text 15. Who would like to read? Anyone?
Hare Krishna Babaji, Dandavat. Can I read?
Yes, Prabhu.
9:15, right?
Yes, Prabhu. 9:15.
ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्. Synonyms: Jnana Yajnana, by cultivation of knowledge. Cha, also. Api, certainly. Anye, others. Yajanta, sacrificing. Mam, me. Upasate, worship. Ekatvena, in oneness. Prathatvena, in duality. Bahuda, in diversity. Vishwatah Mukham, and in the universal form. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. Purport. This verse is the summary of the previous verses. The Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness and do not know anything other than Krishna are called Mahatma. Yet, there are other persons who are not exactly in the position of Mahatma, but who worship Krishna also in different ways. Some of them have already been described as the distressed, the financial destitute, the inquisitive, and those who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. But there are others who are still lower, and these are divided into three. First, he who worships himself as the one with the Supreme Lord. Second, he who concocts some form of the Supreme Lord and worships that. And the third, he who accepts the universal form, the Vishwarupa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and worships that. Out of the above three, the lowest, those who worship themselves as the Supreme Lord, thinking themselves to be the monest, are the most predominant. Such people think themselves to be the Supreme Lord, and in this mentality, they worship themselves. This is also a type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body, but are actually spiritual soul, at least. Such a sense is prominent. Generally, the impersonalists worship the Supreme Lord in this way. The second class includes the worshippers of the demigods, those who by imagination consider any form to be the form of the Supreme Lord. And the third class includes those who cannot conceive of anything beyond the manifestation of this material universe. They consider the universe to be the supreme organism or entity and worship that. The universe is also a form of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So this is a very unique, sometimes, I also have a bad habit of thinking impersonalist or universal form worshipper. These are low class because they are not worshiping the original form of Lord.
And of course, universal form, if you worship, eventually it will be disappearing. When annihilation takes place, universe will be disappearing. But God is eternal. But Krishna is so kind that he considered them also as his worshipper. So that was Krishna's really affection for them. Now, as for the worship, it's individual choice. Devotees generally, forceful, you can say, to the others. Come on, no, this is the form, Supreme Lord you should worship. But Krishna doesn't force. Krishna just tolerate, I would say, because he wants them to come. So in this verse, very interesting. Gyena jagyena chapi anne jajanto mam upasate. Ekattena prithakattena bhoda vishyato mukham. Very beautiful. Ekattena, one type. Prithakattena, second type. Bhoda vishyato mukham, third type. So there are three types of worshipper. Beside devotee, these are not devotee, these are not demon, in between. Krishna is telling that others who worship him through knowledge. So they are called knowledge, who has some knowledge. Gyana jagyana chapi anne. They worship him through knowledge. Jajantu mam upasati. So Krishna is acknowledging that they worship him. How they worship him? That's the question. How they worship him, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. Ekattena, through oneness. They think they are one with me. It's like a merging. A prithakattena. Prithakattena means the Supreme Lord has many forms. So they kind of they think why there is so many variety, because God has so many variety. They think like this. There are many people. If you go to Hardwar in India, you go to Himalayas, oh my God, thousands and thousands of people, and they all have their own idea. Before I was exciting, okay, these people are so nice doing what's doing. Nowadays I get scared. I don't want to hear all this unnecessary because it will disturb mind, and also you feel sad that they don't, and they are not ready to accept. They want to stuck to their own principle. But Krishna is very kind in a sense that he is accepting them as a worshipper. So what are those? Let's discuss little more on this. Otherwise, we'll forget it. So first it says ekattena. Ekattena, through oneness. Who are the oneness? Mayavadis and Brahmavadis. Well, Mayavadi, he already spoke about it on the verse 11. They are offender. Now he's talking about oneness. The Mayavadi also believe in oneness? Yes, but here he's talking about Brahmavadis. They are not devotee, but they are worshipper of impersonal aspect of God. So this ekattena will be elaborately in 12th chapter. When we come to 12th chapter, there is more discussion on this. So when Arjuna asked this question, who is better, personalist or impersonalist? So Krishna is answering, the Prithakattena Bahuda refer to those who worship the demigods. Of course, demigod worship is different conception, which we will discuss also. Now, Prithakattena Bahuda means there are many manifestations of divine. We can worship many manifestations. So this conception, Krishna will elaborate in this chapter itself. When we come to 20, today we are getting there in few probably next week. 9:20 to 28, where he will contrast demigod worship with pure devotional service. This is very nice. We can remember what is the difference between demigod worship and Krishna when we come to that section next week. So here, Vishyato Mukham, which means the idea of Vishya. Vishya means the universe. And being the Mukha or Rupa means a form. What is that form? The universal form. Now, whenever, I think of universal form, I always have immediately I think, well, Rupa Goswami Pad says in Nectar of Devotion, there are 18 general faults in universal form. But Krishna's body does not have those. So universe is not Krishna's original form. Universe has no existence separately from Krishna, that is true. But we don't worship universe as a God. But universe is connected with God, not is God. And Rupa Goswami Pad writes, there are 18 Mohas Tandra Brahmo Ruksha Rasata Kama Ulbana Lolota Mada Matsurjo Hingsha Kheda Parisramo Asattam Krodha Ahankasha Ashanka Vishya Vibramaha Vishatta Prapsheksha Dosha Asta Shodhita Vishnu Jamala. So there are 18 faults. First is illusion. Krishna never has illusion in his body. We assume means soul don't have a illusion, but they are imposed, something given from outside. Now we identify body as self, but body is not soul. Similarly, so body is made of illusion, you can say, so we can explain, but Krishna's body never has illusion. Universal form has illusion. Second, lethargy, lazy. Krishna is never lazy. Lethargy means, oh, I don't feel like to do anything right now, I'm going to rest. This is due to the body. We identify with the body and we think, okay, I just rest. Like this. Third, bewilderment. Fourth, dullness. Fifth, intense lust. Sixth, fickleness. 7, pride. 8, envy. Krishna is never envy. Never. There is no such thing called in him. God is never envious. No violence. No remorse. If you look at the universal form, Arjuna saw the form, has a violence. All these people are entering in his mouth. Oh, he's eating like a universal form. But Krishna doesn't have that. Remorse, no. No desire for excessive peace and comfort. Untruthfulness, no. Anger, no. Hankering, no. Fear, no. Hallucination, no. Contradiction, no. The tendency to depend on others, no. Of course, for Leela Bilas, he does some of those things. It looks like apparently, no, that's for relishment. But these are the fault. Fault is there. Rather, you can say Krishna's body, Satchidananda body, has 8 beautiful qualities. We should meditate on it. What are the 8 qualities? Krishna body possesses 8 qualities which indicate his manliness. He's a person, man, Purush. First is Shobha. Shobha means his form is eternally always like decorated. Every picture you see looks like somebody dressed the deity. But in spiritual world, it is not like that. Krishna always has every moment different beautiful form. Looks like somebody is dressing him, but no. His body is made of that beauty and bliss. Second is Bilash. He is enjoying, fascinating, playing flutes. He has beautiful pastimes. He's a Bilash Murti. Shobha, Bilash. Third is Madhurja. Very sweet. When you look at Krishna, it's very sweet. When you reciprocate with Krishna, very sweet. When you deal with Krishna, play with Krishna, think of Krishna is all sweet. So it's big difference. Then fourth is Mangalaya. Mangala means just by thinking of Krishna, auspiciousness happening in your consciousness. Just by chanting his name, looking at him, even Brajavasis. I'll give you a little story. One time, one Gopi girl, young girl, came and told Mother Jashoda, Maya, Maya, I want to see Krishna. And then Mother Jashoda say, no, 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 he's sleeping now. He's growing boy. He need to rest more. It's too early. Why you want to see him? Oh, because yesterday I saw him before I went to the market to sell my milk. But then when I saw him, I had a good feeling. And when I went to the market, I sold the milk in a double price. And when I came home, our cow gave birth. I had a double profit. So I was thinking, I want to make more profit today. It's just a fun lila. Looks like an ordinary, pastime, but it's very fun. So can I see your son, please? Mother Jashoda says, no, 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 no. He need to rest. I don't want to wake him up. Then all of a sudden, Krishna woke up. From the second floor, he said, Maya, you taught me that when I grow up, I should do always good to others. So if somebody, just by seeing me, will be benefited, should we start now what you wanted? And Mother Jashoda could not say anything. He said, yes, yes, yes. So it's just a fun that even in eternal world, every moment Krishna is the symbol of auspiciousness, Mangala. Then fifth is Sthirata. Sthirata means stability. Looks like Krishna is always running, playing this, yes, but he's fixed. Nobody can disturb his play. Demon comes, looks like Jogamaya sending some demon, allowing some demon. Demon comes, but he doesn't stop his play. Oh, one demon has come, okay, finishing, liberating. Play going on, okay, keep on playing. Our Brahma, after the Python, the Aghasur. Aghasur is a big body. 14 miles, 14 miles Python, I don't know, from here to Gainesville, like 12 miles, yeah. That's a long drive. It takes half an hour to drive there. Imagine that a body of a snake. But when Python came to disturb his play, he made it as like a playground, and they did play, and he killed the Python, Aghasura, and then play continued. They started, it's kind of like it gives an appetite, and then they have a lunch. Prabhupada says, every day before he has lunch, he kills 2 or 3 demons. I was thinking, wow, 360 days. So even if you have a 2 demon, then you have a 700 plus demons every year. And imagine 11 years in the past times written, how many thousands of demons came every day. But of course, we don't know all of them because Sukdev Goswami was very kind. He knew that some of the demons are so furious and so deadly, we may not understand why Jogamaya allowed them or something. But something we can relate and purify our heart to remove the anarthas. So those demons he explained to Parikshit Maharaj. So he's very stable in that sense. Always stable, never like stop going to play. No, no. And then number 6 is Teja. Teja means Krishna is very powerful. When Keshi demon came, big, like a big four-legged animal, making with the horn, making the ground, like digging by his hoof, making the ground like earthquake. Everybody got scared. But when they prayed to Krishna, Brajavashi, Krishna comes there. Krishna say, "Hey, why are you disturbing everyone?" And Krishna eventually grab his head horn and just throw him like a wet cloth. That's it. It was very interesting. It's so powerful. But he was laughing. But he killed them, Aristasura. And also his name is Dhira Lalita Nayaka. Dhira Lalita Nayaka means he's very playful, always playful. Never you see him like worry, anxiety, depressed. No, he's very playful. And number 8 is munificent. Munificent means audarja. Very kind, compassion. Never allow anybody to suffer. So with those notes, so when we talk about this universal form, we should understand, we should remember, we respect the universal form because they exist, the universe exists because of Krishna, but it is not actually Krishna's form, Krishna's original Satchidananda form. But for some people, as Krishna mentioned in this verse, they worship him as God. I mean, they worship the universe as God. I don't know if any one of you ever met anybody. I don't think I met. But I know there are people who are pantheism, panentheism. Pantheism means they think that we were before one and now it's all scattered into unlimited parts and we all have to get back to our origin, like become pantheism, like the world, there was God and God became the world and the world has to go back to become God again. Some concocted. So what are those 3 conceptions? Let's finish this. When people will be God conscious, it is not that suddenly they start thinking about God. Their conception evolved gradually. Prabhus and mothers, I don't know how many of you actually were worshipping on so many kinds of God before you became devotee. Last slide, maybe some of, like Prabhupada said, the scientists and other people who appreciate the nature, like Buddhists also appreciate, some of the Buddhists appreciate nature. There are a lot. Then when they die, they become demigods because they appreciate. When you appreciate, you go higher consciousness, which is nice. I think everybody should appreciate. Then they will be always going up, up. So when they appreciate, then they become the demigod worshippers. And then next life they will become sun god or Shiva Bhakta, Shiva worshipper. And then next life they will become devotee, Hare Krishna devotee. But those who are fortunate, they are coming right now. We should make everybody fortunate. Let them become all devotee now. Why go through so many life? So it's not like suddenly somebody just became devotee and he started thinking of God. No, they probably did not worship Krishna, but they were worshipping other gods. Even their childhood life or last life, who knows, 10 lives, 20 lives before. So this is Krishna's opinion. So one may think around me, I think this universe is so great. So this universe itself is sacred, divine. This is Krishna's point. This can be a form of pantheism, as I mentioned. The idea that everything is God. So one may start worshipping universe itself as God. What's the problem? Some of you might be thinking. If you want to dress the God, can you dress the universe? No. You need bigger cloth than the universe. If you want to make an offering, how do you offer? Of course, in Gainesville, there was a funny young boys and girls, they were saying, oh, we are offering everything to the universe. I said, who is the universe? It's like, universe. I said, okay, at least they're doing something. They're thinking the universe is God. So they are also in the college here in the UF in Gainesville. I remember those young boys, girls when we went there. They said, we are just putting our desire, everything in the universe, offering everything to the universe, to God. So that idea is there. And one visualize different parts of universe as parts of the absolute truth. So here the conception is associated that bigness is associated with greatness, and greatness is associated with God. That's how, if you look at the verse, Krishna is essentially saying this. God is greatest, Allahu Akbar. They don't believe in form of God, one of the biggest religion in the world. God is great. Okay, he must be biggest, and biggest thing we see in the universe. So sun, moon, they're big, eyes of the absolute truth. Just chakshure savita sakalo grahanam raja samasta suramurti shesha teja. Jassa gaya brahmati sambrita kala chakra govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahmaji also wrote that the sun is the eye, representative of God. So that is there. So what their meditation is, what they meditate on, of course, certain sacrifices are also performed in Vishwarupa part, which we'll discuss in couple verses later. And point is here that the vastness, pervasiveness of universe, one conceive as absolute truth. Then if they do, then one think that this universe is vast. Look at, I don't know how many of you at night, if you go outside in a moon night, and then you look at the sky, so many stars. This is God. Vast sky. People like that. Even children, they're like, wow, big sky. So many stars. What is God? This is God. Okay. So from pantheism to polytheism. Pantheism is the idea that everything is God. And polytheism is there are many gods. Then after that, one starts thinking that in material world, everything is temporary. There must be some reality which is eternal. And one starts thinking, I also have a longing for eternity. And beyond the changes to this world, there must be some unchanging substratum. And I and that unchanging substratum are same. That is how one comes to the conception of spiritual oneness. And that is called ekottena. If you look at the verse, the first word is ekottena. 3 types, one is ekottena. And this is what ekottena. That even though there is verity, but there is a oneness. There is a connection with everything. And then Krishna also said, Vishyato Mukham. Is the idea that universal form is to be worshipped. And the idea that of the various manifestation of absolute truth, the universal controllers have to be worshipped. And beyond this is spiritual reality. So ekottena, so one who worships them. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that this hierarchy progresses from downwards to upwards. That means Vishwata Mukham is the lowest. Then Prithakattena Bahuda is intermediate. And Ekottena is the highest. Why? Because the conception is moving from material to spiritual. First one is, they think of material bigness. Look at the mountain, so big. Then after that, I saw in Grand Canyon many years back, some people like, wow, they go like that. They appreciate the nature. They appreciate the amazing creation. Then after that, one is thinking of controllers. One is thinking about consciousness. Then after that, one is thinking about spiritual consciousness in form of oneness. That lies beyond an underlining matter, controlling matter. So in that sense, this is evaluation of thought. Now, Srila Prabhupada here, we just heard from Kamaniya Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada explained it in opposite manner. How? He said first is Vishwarup. If you look at the purport we just heard, Vishwarup Upasana, Vishwata Mukham. The aspect of universal form are used as material meditational tool to reach the absolute truth. Prithak Pratika Upasana, Prithakattena Bahuda. Different manifestation, different people can do in different way. But one way is Pratika Upasana. That means one consider demigod as symbol of Brahman. As Prithaka is representative of Brahman, and worship demigod accordingly. And then third one, Prabhupada writes, Ahangraha Upasana Ekattena. Ahangraha Upasana, I remember in Prahlad Charit in 7th canto, we also read that. Ahangraha Upasana is one worship oneself as absolute truth. They are not Mayavadis because they don't offend Krishna's form. They don't offend Krishna's form. Mayavadi, they do. So Ahangraha Upasana can be understood that considering oneself as absolute truth in itself. In America, you'll find some people think like this. They are God. Like a famous story of in Philadelphia temple. One gentleman came to Ravindra Swarup Prabhu. He says, thank you for worshipping me so elaborately here. He said, excuse me? He said, you are dressing in the altar so nicely. Thank you for doing that to me. He said, what do you mean doing that to you? He said, we all are God. We are worshipping God. Actually, we are worshipping ourselves. And then Ravindra Swarup Prabhu understood. He said, oh, Prabhupada mentioned there are some people think like this, that they are God. It's like if you cook some nice food and somebody say, thank you for cooking for me. Wait, I cook for Krishna. Well, I am Krishna. We are all Krishna. So they have that conception. So, absolute truth in itself. Now, they're not Mayavadi. I hope you all understand. They're impersonalists, but they're not Mayavadi. What Mayavadi say, that God doesn't have a form originally. They only take a form when they come to in this world. So wait a minute. A pig eating stool, is that a form of God? Yes, that is nonsense. That is nonsense. But Brahmavadi, they believe that originally there is a formless, also form in eternal world. They believe both. Mayavadi don't believe that originally there is a form, only formless. form is only in the material world. I had that when I joined. I always thought God's all these deity form. So these forms are made here. Is there really form in spiritual world? Now, doubt was there for decades. And finally, it was removed by Prabhupada's mercy, by explanation. So Krishna's form is Ahangra Upasana. When you see them, Mayavadi, what makes Mayavad offensive is the notion that Krishna's form is material. Krishna's form is illusory. Krishna's form is false. That one has to go beyond Krishna's form to some other higher reality. And that notion is what is offensive. I hope you all understand that. This is a very important, that why Mayavadis are offensive and Brahmavadis are not. Now, some of you may think like, gosh, we have to learn so many things. Yes, because it is within us. Within us, there is a doubt. We're trying to remove all the doubts to have a clear Krishna's beautiful Satchidananda form manifest within us. And Srila Prabhupada explained that in a different perspective. One is a philosophical perspective. Is Mayavadis are better than Karmis? If you ask that. Why is that? Because Karmis are engaged in sense gratification. But Mayavadis are detached from sense gratification. Mayavadis has more philosophical insight and understood to some extent that this world cannot provide happiness. So many Mayavadi are renunciate, they take sannyas, they go away, give up family life. And they're good in scripture. They even recite Bhagavad Gita. They are pursuing the absolute truth. And if you really see them, and if some of us don't understand the philosophy and we see them, wow, they're sannyasis. They wear like some kind of tilak, 3 lines, and they're very strict vegetarian, and they chant Bhagavad Gita. You will be thinking like there must be devotee. They are detached from this world. They are not after sense gratification. As I said, they are good in reciting Sanskrit. They're pursuing the absolute truth. So they are philosophical, sophisticated, more insightful than the Karmis. So some of them will live like life in goodness, but Karmis may live life in passion or ignorance. So in order to answer, that's how you have to understand. The second is devotional perspective, Karmis versus Mayavadis. In devotional perspective, one's position is not determined by where one is, but what one's attitude towards that Krishna is. That means if one is a blasphemer of Krishna, one is offensive towards Krishna, then in that sense, Karmis can be better than Mayavadis. Because Karmis has a greater chance of coming closer to Krishna, because they are not offensive towards Krishna. Whereas Mayavadis thinks that their goal is to go beyond Krishna. So because of their offensive thinking, making advancement to devotional service is difficult. 12.5 Bhagavad Krishna himself says, Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta asukta chetosam. Avyakta hi gati dukkha. Avyakta hi gati dukkha. Dhyam buddhi rabhapati. So Krishna explained that. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained the Vishwarup Upasana, Vishwatamukam, the third category, is lowest. Then Pratika Upasana or Prithakatyana then ahangraha upasana. So Prabhupada put it in the other way. Vishnu Chakravarti put upside down, but it's okay. There's no really big deal because nothing to do with the bhakti there. So this is with respect to philosophical understanding, that one understands there is a spiritual reality and spiritual reality is worshipped. But when we turn it around, then conception of worship is most prominent in Vishwarup or Vishwarup worshipper, universal worshipper, and least prominent in Ahangraha Upasana. How do you worship yourself? Can anyone think like this? How do you worship yourself? Why? Because if I am worshipping myself, then actually it is a paradox, isn't it? Paradox of terms. I worship myself. It is not very theistic. And higher than that is Pritakatyana, Pratika Upasana. Oh, there are very many demigods. They should be worshipped. And higher than that conception, there is one absolute truth. And absolute truth is manifesting as Vishwarup, universal form. I should worship that. So for Ahangraha Upasana, Ekottena, Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purports that such people think themselves to be Supreme Lord. I don't know if any one of you ever met someone, but they are there in India also, all over the world. These people are there, thousands and thousands. They think literally. So in this mentality, they worship themselves. They are worshiping to a deity. They're thinking that is, I'm going to be this, and I am that God. I'm worshiping myself. To me, just that idea is boring. This is also type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body, but actually spiritual soul. At least such a sense is prominent. So important line is, this is also type of God worship. So this is not Mayavad, this is not one type of Brahmavad. I mean, this is one type of Brahmavad, not Mayavad. So with that note, I'll end here and let's see if we have any question or reflection or further discussion. Yes, Charles.
Takeaway, I have two. Don't be envious. And we should really want to see Krishna so we can sell our milk for double and double the price and have baby cows.
That's how the Brajavashi is thinking. You are thinking like Brajavashi. Interesting. Nice thought. Thank you. There are 4 types of people in this world. Let's see if we can figure it out. Some are detached from Krishna and attached to the matter. Who are they? Anyone? They are detached from Krishna but attached to the matter.
So are they karmis, Prabhu?
Yes, very good answer. Yes. There are, okay, second question. There are some people who are detached from matter and detached from Krishna. Who are they? Detached from both?
Atheist?
No. Very specific. They believe in God.
Gnani, Prabhu.
Mayavadis, yes. Gyanis, Mayavadis. They think like this, deep down in, I'm just putting a twisting word so that you will have to really think about it. Okay, let's try one more. There are who are attached to Krishna, but they are attached to matter also. Just the opposite to the first one. They are attached to Krishna, they are also attached to the matter.
Neophytes.
Very good. Neophytes, Sahajiyas. Yes, yes, yes. You can see. When somebody comes to the spiritual life, they cannot give up their sense enjoyment. They are so attached, but they also want to be attached to Krishna. So they are trying both. Then you fight. Good. Okay, last question. They are attached to Krishna and detached from matter.
Bhakta.
Bhakta.
Yes. Yes.
Bhakta.
Yes. Pure devotee. Good, 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 good. See, you all are bright. You all figured it out. Kamaniya Prabhu, you have raised hand. You want to share something?
Yeah, Babaji, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Babaji. So these questions are really nice. So from there, one question arises is, how will you, you know, try to detach from your bodily attachments? Because as we see
How
that
do
in
you, hold on. How do you detach from what?
bodily attachment, bodily.
Bodily attachment. That's very easy. You treat them as a devotee. If you try to detach, you're not going to get detached. I mean, it possible maybe because Mayavadis they do, but it's just unnecessary. You really have to start hating it, that person. And if it is relative or children or parents, it will be very hard. But if you treat them as a devotee, that attachment as a devotee will purify that bodily or detachment will all automatically develop.
Prabhuji, actually, I was talking about the self-bodily attachment, not like generally in bhakti, right? After some point of time,
You mean
maybe,
in your own personal life?
yeah,
No,
it
no,
means
no, no, no.
your
Don't
own
be
bodily
detached. No, don't be detached. Body, you have to engage. Prabhupada says, number one rules, you have to take care of your body. So we are not attached to the body in a sense that we are going to engage the body. Now, if you fly to India from Orlando, how important the airplane is well taken care. Very important because you want to reach the destiny. This body will take us ultimate goal of sadhana. We need to not attach to the body, but we need to take care of the body. So more we do sadhana, more we take care of the body for Krishna's pleasure. Okay, body is tired, need to rest so that it can serve better. Prabhu, if I am out of the body, how do I serve in conditional state? I have to act like a ghost. Ghost cannot do any service. Ghost body actually disturbed. Ghost body disturbed. Sometimes you want to wake up early morning, as I mentioned this morning class. And because this is own experience I had long time back, 35 years back. I'm trying to get up, but I feel like something blocking my chest. Somebody's sitting there or something. Like you are aware, you want to get up to go to Mangalarti, but I could not get up. So I did research and asked different people. I'm always inquisitive to find out. And then we studied. Third canto, 20 chapter, you see Prabhupada writes that how Brahmaji created all these beings. So ghosts are there. Prabhupada writes the ghosts are so bad sometimes, they try to disturb the devotees. They attack the body of an animal and try to disturb devotees while they are doing puja or something like that. Because they are frustrated. They want to do like a human being. They cannot do. What is the difference? They don't have the physical body. We have the physical body. Physical body is like a ground, earth, dirt. When we are hungry, we don't eat the dirt. We eat rice. But where rice comes from? From the dirt. We like the milk. Where milk comes from? Cow. No, cows, but cow eats the grass. So you think like this, the body can produce ultimate destiny if we can engage the body to serve Krishna. We can cook, we can chant, we can dance, we can do all kinds of things through the body. So body should be utilized and not attached, but utilize. Take care of the body to utilize. Then body
Yeah,
can give our ultimate destiny. Does that make sense?
yeah, Babuji. So you made a very, very, very important statement here, one that I can say that okay, you should not be attached, but the take care of the body. So how will you differentiate basically when you are, because most of the time we see that, when we start taking up, people are like, are getting attached. So how will you make a thin line basically that, okay, now you are getting attached, now you have to, just come out of it.
How to utilize the body, how to engage, how to utilize all the time. It's so wonderful, so wonderful. Because more we engage this body, more we will connect with Krishna and we will forget about the body. I give you an example, bro. If I give you 1 kilo or 1 liter milk, and I say, do you see the butter in the milk? You say, I don't see the butter. But with intelligence, you know butter comes from the milk. Butter cannot come from anywhere else. Butter comes from the milk. But it's required churning. It's required some process. So, but if somebody look butter in the milk, they will not find. They have to do the process. Similarly, our love of God, actually, we will utilize this body and get the love of God. At that time, body is purified and gone. When body is purified, it's worshipable. You will see great personality like Prabhupada. We worship his body. This is what Samadhi temple means. Samadhi means we worship that body because that body can purify anybody else. Originally, it is material, but when it is engaged in Krishna consciousness, it becomes spiritualized. Prabhupada, that's why Rupa Goswami gives that example that what they call Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta means while you are alive, you are liberated within the body. How? Because of utility of the body. So example is given like the iron. Iron is in contact with fire. So bhakti is in contact with devotion. So when iron is contact with the fire, in the beginning we may not feel. We may still feel iron. We can touch it. But once it becomes really hot, it will not act like iron. It will act like fire. And more it is contact, it will be red like fire. Is it iron or fire? Touch it and then you know. You'll get burned. So body will act like that spiritual at that time. Then you are done. That time, that body can purify thousands of people. Just by touching that body, Prabhupada's body, people were like, get purified just by touching Prabhupada's body, just by in contact with Prabhupada's body. It's so powerful. This body can be so powerful, empowering others or purifying others if we can utilize. This is a very nice question, Prabhu. Nice thought.
Yeah, thank you so much, Babu. Very nice answer, also thoughtful. That how Prabhupada's body, as like spiritualized, and similarly, it is, we can try to take care of the body, not getting attached to the body. So,
Yes.
thank you so much, Babu. Very
Thank you.
thoughtful answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Somen Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. So actually, Prabhu, that one point you actually explained that oneness worshipper who are worshipping themselves as God, they are one kind of Brahmavadi, right? Prabhu, that's they are in categorized, or they are completely impersonalist. But they
Brahmavadi are impersonalist. But difference of Brahmavadi and Mayavadi, that Brahmavadi believes original God is formless.
yes.
From formless comes form. So they also believe in eternal form, but not as origin. Origin is impersonal, then the form came. Mayavadi, they believe originally impersonal, and there is no eternal form. All the form of God, all the form of Krishna is product of matter. That is offense.
So they don't think Krishna's body as a spiritual body. So they
Correct.
think
Correct.
about the Krishna's body as a material form.
Correct.
Okay.
Made
So-
of sattvagun, made of modes of material nature.
So oneness worshippers is also believing in the Supreme Lords, and in one way they are also worshipping them, right?
Yeah.
In-
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't know, Prabhu. Maybe you were there, I was there, I don't know. We all went so many lives to come where we are today.
Yes. Yes.
It's not just accidentally all of a sudden. It appears like, because we don't remember.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. If there is no more, then we can close here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalvatara Vishkipa Sindhavevach. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Srila Prabhupada ki
Thank you,
jai.
Prabhu.
Jai.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mother
Hari
Sushila.
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Gaur Premanande.